welcome to our latest edition of the MBiz Minute. This is a regular thing that we've been doing at the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce to keep our members up to date on some of the things that are going on throughout the province, and to have the discussions with some business leaders throughout Manitoba as well in terms of how they're dealing with COVID-19 and how it's impacting their business. So today we're joined by Keren Taylor-Hughes, the CEO of Winnipeg Harvest. Keren, welcome to our latest edition of the MBiz Minute.
Thanks, Jack. Good morning.
So talk a little bit about Winnipeg Harvest and what you do and what the organization does for our viewers.
Well, Winnipeg Harvest has been around come July 1st for 35 years. And the goal was and always has been to provide food support to families and individuals who are struggling. So they partnered mostly initially with retail, who were discarding items that were still much viable but could not be sold. And as a result, we were able to have these donations of food and then partner with other partners out in the community to have food available for families who are struggling. Some of them are on assistance, some of them have disabilities, some are in between jobs, or folks of any age and any circumstance of life. So what we do is we collect all the food at our warehouse. We have a 100,000 square foot facility, 85,000 square feet is warehouse. And we collect, and we have a network of food banks and agencies like soup kitchens and shelters, and we work in the schools and daycares, and through our network of over 300 across the entire province, we distribute food, and that helps us get food out to these families. So what we like about Harvest is the food is coming from their community. They're not coming to 1085 Winnipeg Avenue in the middle of Winnipeg downtown. They're going to something that's maybe a 5 or 10 minute walk up the street to a local community site where they can get their food from their neighbors who are helping them.
And that's the one interesting thing, Keren, that I don't think a lot of people would have recognized, is that Winnipeg Harvest does provide for harvest throughout the province.
Yes, yeah. I think that's the biggest misnomer, I think, with the Winnipeg. I'm sure 35 years ago we started with Winnipeg, but then we recognized that people needed food all across our province. And we work with food banks and sites from Churchill down to the border. So we are proud to serve communities in our north, as well as rural Manitoba and throughout the city.
So over the last 2 months have been some challenging times for most Manitobans. And I can imagine it's been some challenging times for Winnipeg Harvest in terms of seeing an uptick in the number of people that are looking for your services.
Yes, we were able to feel the effects of COVID from a food security standpoint immediately. Because we are so tied to our retail partners, because people were worried about COVID and didn't know if they were going to be quarantined, people were buying a lot of things in the grocery store. As a result, what was left to donate to us was very minimal. So right away, our food supply slowed, came to a halt through that route. And then we realized people that were getting laid off right away were going to the food bank for food support because they're worried, how are we going to feed our families? So we saw a quick uptick in the first 4 weeks of 30% and a drop in food support initially at about 80%. So we had two different things going on. It was very challenging. So we reached out to the community and were able to start to connect food and funds, because we've had the pristine honor, I would say, in Manitoba. We're the second largest food bank in the country because we feed the entire province, but we also have such great donors that we haven't had to purchase food ever. But now we were in a position where we had to do that. So we felt a lot of things right away. And then, of course, with the need for social distancing, we had to retool how we do things in our warehouse and how we serve people and how to make sure that we keep, number one, our staff here safe, our volunteers that come in safe, and our food bankers safe, and of course the clients that they serve. So we have a lot of things to do very quickly.
With some of those challenges that you've experienced over the last couple of months as a result of COVID-19, I think one of the things that's also come to the forefront is that you've been able to really highlight some excellent partnerships that the organization has as well. So, you know, organizations like the chicken producers, the egg farmers, the dairy farmers. So I wonder if you can talk a little bit about, you know, what some of those organizations do and what that relationship with Winnipeg Harvest looks like.
Sure. We, again, are really fortunate. We've had some great leaders at Harvest in the past that have made us integral to the entire fabric of our province. So we're proud of our almost 28-year long-standing relationship with dairy farmers in Manitoba. They decided that they felt it was important that children in our province, if families couldn't afford milk, they would donate milk to give to us, to give to the producer and processor, who would then make milk and cheese for our families, and that would be donated on a regular basis. So we're the only food bank in the country where every week we get milk for all of our families, and children 12 and under get milk and cheese as a part of this. So we're really proud of that. And we just brought on chicken producers came in. They've been trying to figure out how best to support us. It's been a bit of a process, but it couldn't have come at a better time as during COVID. So they are now committed to providing us with chicken on a regular basis that will allow us to share that with our families, and the same with the egg producers. So people go, what comes first, chicken or the egg? We don't care. They both came at the same time, and we're grateful because we know our families really appreciate it.
Are there other things that the general public can do as well? I know now is a time when a lot of people are starting to plant gardens, for example, and I know the Grow a Row program has been something that has really blossomed over the last number of years. Is that something as well that you would encourage, potential people at home that they could help out with as well?
Absolutely. One of the things that Harvest has always done is we have a 10,000 square foot container garden behind our building, and we've always tended that, and we've had volunteers help us do that and grow our own food for the future. But because we're so focused now on just getting our food out, because we are so challenged with less volunteers, we haven't been able to tend our garden this year. We won't be having a garden this year. So Grow a Row becomes really important. But I think there's lots of great opportunities for people. Kids are home with their parents, and I know from my own children with our grandchildren, they're all struggling after 2 months of how do you keep them entertained. I thought, what a great thing to show them how to grow and tend a garden, and then grow a row for harvest. So I would encourage everyone to do that, and we look forward to that. You can come online and sign up, and then take some pictures and show us what you're growing. And again, those items, great things are root vegetables, so potatoes, carrots, onions, turnips, parsnips, those kind of things that we can keep cool, and we can use them throughout the winter months as well. They last a bit longer. So that then it's a great opportunity. It's an easy way to give back. And if you're a natural gardener and you already have a garden, one row is all we would require. That'd be fantastic.
Is there a need for volunteers? How else can people help out with Winnipeg Harvest?
Well, there's lots of ways the business community can help out. So number one, we're always looking for food, and lots of communities have been stepping up and doing food drives, even from a distance. They send out notices to their neighbors, and they put items on their front doorstep. Someone picks them up. Those have been all done in the community. We haven't run any of them. We're hoping to do a couple in the summer ourselves, and we have lots of community support that way. Funds are always helpful. We are always having, at this point, continuing to purchase food to make sure we can meet the demand, so that would be helpful. But we're also looking at some of our local vendors to look at, in businesses, what do you produce, or what do you have extra or surplus of that you could donate, or what do you produce that we could maybe purchase to help, again, fill our hampers. We've had to purchase out of province because there's just the capacity for the bulk that we need is really hard to get. But I'm really trying to build some new relationships with folks, both on the donation side of surplus items and also looking at what do you produce that we could use and purchase, even if it's not bulk, that we could share with our network. So I think there's great opportunities more than ever. And we want to support Manitoba businesses because they've always supported us. So we're doing what we can do to help them as well.
I guess the final question then, Keren, how can people get a hold of Winnipeg Harvest if they want to help out?
Sure. Go to our website, winnipegharvest.org, and there's opportunities to donate funds, talks about food drives if you want to sign up, also how to volunteer. We have an emergency volunteer sheet. We ask you some basic health questions when you come in. If you've been here before, it's very different. We practice social distancing, and you have to hand wash, and we get you all garbed up in terms of gloves and what you do. But it's very safe. We've been really cautious about that and making sure that everyone stays healthy, and we bleach and clean. So volunteering is another great way to help as well. But they need to be over 18.
Keren, thanks again for joining us for our latest edition of the MBiz Minute. Keren Taylor-Hughes is the CEO of Winnipeg Harvest, a great organization in Manitoba that's doing some excellent work as Manitobans deal with the COVID-19 situation and are asking if we can get some of our members to help out as well. It would be greatly appreciated. Keren, thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
Have a great day, everyone.